And on that point, actually, so I think we both spoke at an event not too long ago on some of the advances of AI on drug discovery and development. I think this is a massive, for lack of words, buzzword. I've heard so many of my friends in other firms across professional services talking about AI being an emerging trend within life sciences. What would you say are some of the things which excite you about the applications of AI in, let's say, drug development or drug discovery?
Of course, it's like there is always the headlines, and there is always what it means.
Yeah.
I will explain to you how I see it in plain language. Yeah, like for pharma, the core business of pharma is developing drugs and doing that in the most cost-effective way, because a lot of pharma drugs, developments will fail, and you have to make money with the ones that do not fail. No, so. Understanding that, I mean, this is the core business of pharma. We discussed before precision medicine. This is what really is very interesting for me as a potential patient, but of course, this is the core business. So what are the applications that we're seeing right here, right now, in AI, artificial intelligence in pharma? And if we look at what artificial intelligence does for pharma, which is, it automates, it makes things, possible in a faster way. It's like something that ingests the information, processes the information, and does it to you in a faster way that it would be impossible. So you use computation to do that. So one of the use cases that pharma uses for drug discovery, I will not call it discovery, it could be drug repurposing, for instance.
Okay, yeah.
You have like a poultry, imagine a poultry full of compounds.
Yeah.
So it's like cooking, yeah? You always cook the same dish, but what about mixing things in a different way to create something new that's useful? So this is number one. This is the business case of a lot of startups doing that. They use this, combine it. Some of them, they are even doing very cool things. They are doing that in silico. They're combining in silico, fully digitalized. So this is one area. And this is what's behind as well, this computational capability of doing these combinations with the discovery in really like short time of, the COVID vaccine. Things were repurposed from previous. Somebody was talking, one is for monkeys, the other thing is RNN, but they were repurposing. They were looking into the poultry and seeing what can we use, what can we combine, But obviously, another part is discovering new molecules, That's very important, because unfortunately, we still have a lot of diseases where there is no cure for. And sometimes it goes down to the point that we don't understand much how it works. Neurology, for instance, is one of the fields where we have a lot of people with dementia, Alzheimer's. People don't know still very well how it works, how it doesn't work, and how can we use, I would say, AI, artificial intelligence / digital health solutions for that. Now, you know that a lot of trials fail, but what many people are not aware is that a lot of trials fail because of design, but also because of patient recruitment. Yeah? There is a lot of diseases that are very difficult to diagnose because the current biomarkers only allow us to identify when it's already progressed. We mentioned Alzheimer's, Yeah. By following those people, with connected devices, we might identify new digital footprints, biomarkers, that can give way for us to kind of figure out, this is early onset of Alzheimer's, early onset of dementia. And there are some very interesting studies going on at the moment with Roche, etc., that's proving quite positive, More research has to be done, but if we could identify, first of all, identify the patients that are likely to get early onset of Alzheimer's, getting on trials, then we can then design drugs to maybe stop or delay, the progression at the same time that we will understand the disease a bit better. So this is the area as well where it's called digital companions, that could be very interesting. Another area that some traditional companies are working on is on developing digital therapeutics, So it's kind of, it could be a combination of a traditional therapeutic with some digital intervention. But some of them companies like Kylie is like they are even becoming digital medicines in themselves. Yeah? So I already given you 3 cases, and of course, if you look at the common denominator of those cases is computational capacity AI, but also in the last 2 cases, what's linking all that is something called real world evidence.
Yeah.
And because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's really like combining real world evidence with RCTs, and the data is extremely, extremely powerful because we sort out the problem of a snapshot, yeah? I mean, somebody explained to me the difference between real world evidence and the one that you get, the data points that you get from a randomized clinical trial is that it's just like observing, a tiger in the zoo.
Yeah,
And observing a tiger in the wild.
In the natural world,
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
you get
and kind of confirming like, so this does confirm that that's how the tiger actually acts.
And the advantage of that is that you don't need to have tigers. You can have a whole zoo because you can include a lot of different people, a lot of different entities that at the moment is not possible. So both of them will complement each other very well because, of course, randomized controlled trials are more controlled.
Yeah.
They're more, we need that. We're talking about medicines, yeah? But the other one is really just going to give us the flavor of what's really going on, and maybe we can discover very, very interesting things, from a molecular level as well.
Yeah, definitely adding that flavor and reinforcement of what we believe to be true from the randomized controlled trials. And I really like the perspective you gave because I think many people, when they think about AI within R&D and drug discovery and development, I think some people tend to think that it's only something that can be used at the very initial stages in terms of trying to identify certain potential targets or pathways that can be used or potential drug particles that might be used to create a drug. But honestly, AI is a technology and a tool which can be used pretty much throughout the whole of that discovery and development timeline, from the very beginning, very early on, to the later stages of discovery, to the early stages of development, and throughout the whole actual time of the clinical trials as well. And even technically after phase 3, and I guess we could describe it as phase 4, when you're doing that whole looking at real world evidence and getting data insights from there. And something which does really touch home for me and does kind of excite me is that use case of being able to look at data, whether it's real world evidence or even data from clinical trials, and use like AI technology to analyze certain populations and to identify if there's actually a disease which is already approved for one disease that can actually be applied very successfully to another disease, which we already know is relatively safe because it's already approved. And that is something which has been done and successfully with AI in some cases.